How's your favorite cybersecurity quarterback? Ron Wilkie, and I am going to talk to you today about something that I am passionate about. People ask me this kind of stuff all the time. Ron, what keeps you up at night? What are your top risks that we should be concerned with, especially small businesses, or really any business? So I decided to put together my top 10, and this is pretty much industry wide, I believe, as it relates to cyber risk. Not just any risk, but cyber risk. You have enterprise risk as well. That's something that's a little different. Sometimes this rolls up into enterprise risk, but these are my top 10 cyber risks. Without delay, let's get to it. Are you ready? All right. Number one, phishing attacks. So, what is this? This is when you get an email, right? And someone sends you a message. And basically, what they want you to do is click on a link. They want you to click a link so that they can have access to your system. You're going to click the link. You're probably going to go to a website, and that website is going to have some type of virus on it, or some malware, or some type of compromising software running on it, putting it on your system so then they can actually remote into your system. Happens all the time, right? Usually it's money related. They want to find some, accounts on your system because a lot of your saved accounts, saved cash, is in your system in a particular folder. So anyway, that's what it is. It's phishing attacks. Sometimes they just want to get you to send, they want to pretend that there's somebody else and get you to send them some money sometimes. So anyway, I won't get into all of the things that they do with phishing attacks, but just know getting those emails that are crazy, but they look legit, that's the number one scheme they use. Phishing, it's called phishing, like you're fishing for something. It's called phishing. Phishing attacks. All right, what's number two? Number two, ransomware. What is ransomware? Basically, that's when you have downloaded something into your system. You click the phishing link, and now you have downloaded some malicious software, and that software is locking up your system. Your system is locked up. Now you can't do anything. They encrypt your hard drive, and in order to get your hard drive back or get your information back, they request that you send them money, hence ransom, right? Usually it's in the form of cryptocurrency. So that's ransomware. It's bad. But what I will tell you is not to pay it. Do not pay them, right? Do not pay. Pay me to come and fix your systems. And basically, what you want to do if you have this is to isolate the system that has the ransomware. Make sure it's not connected to the rest of your network or your intranet, right? Then you want to delete that whole system and then reinstall from your backups, right? So that's ransomware. Let's keep it going. All right, insider threats. This could easily be number one because insiders, people that work for your business or work for you or maybe even a third party, we'll get to that later, they have access to the network internally already. And so sometimes people will make mistakes and they will cause something bad to happen unintentionally. Also, they could be malicious or they could be bribed, right? So there's a case where someone was doing a penetration test, couldn't get inside the building, but there was somebody else who worked in the building, came out for a smoke break. So that tester went and talked to the person on the smoke break who worked at that company. And guess what? They said, you know what? I'll give you $500 if you just plug this USB into somebody else's system. It doesn't even have to be yours. Just plug it in. Here's your $500. The person did it, took the money and did it. Why? Maybe they needed the money. Maybe they didn't like the person that they plugged the USB in their computer. I don't know. But that's an insider threat as well. So you want to make sure that you lock down systems so that individuals only have access to what they're supposed to have access. So in case somebody compromises that individual, they only have access to what that person should have access to. Now, some cases they may have access to a lot of things, but you can kind of isolate that. But that's an insider threat. When somebody works at the company and some kind of way they are compromised or they make a mistake. Let's go to the next one. Try not to make this a long video. Malware. Basically, it's just software that compromises your network, right? And it can be a range of things. But basically, it is just software and it goes from system to system, infecting other systems, and it's just really bad. But again, you get this through phishing most of the time. You can get it through a USB. You can get it from a picture, like you could download a picture onto your system, but it can have malware attached to it. So that's why you don't just download just anything from the internet, right? That's why you just don't click on links, right? Because it can do a number of things. So that's malware. It's kind of like, a virus. It's usually attached, like I said, to phishing. It can also be attached to insider threat. And this is weak or compromised password. So if you have a weak password, that means somebody can just guess it. So if I can connect to your computer, let's say I see your computer online because I'm scanning the internet, and I'm looking for systems that have a certain vulnerability, and your system comes up and you have a weak password. So let's say I decide to RDP into a remote desktop protocol. So every system has it, or some type of way to connect to the system and access it, right? To log into it. If you have a weak password, then I can just run a brute force attack and in seconds get your password. All right. So that's something else that is on this list. So you definitely want to audit your passwords. I think I made a video 5 or 6 years ago about how to audit passwords to make sure that you have, really strong passwords. All right, number 6, supply chain attacks. What is that? That's when you have a vendor. So if you're a company and you use other companies to do work for you, so now that other company, that third party company, has access to your system because you all are sharing files or working together, whatever the case may be. If that company gets compromised, then guess what? You're compromised because they have access to your system. This happens a lot, a ton of times. So you want to make sure that your vendor also have certain security controls in place. So you can send them a questionnaire and ask them, do you do X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C? Or do you have any compliance certifications like ISO 27001 to show that your company is following the proper security controls or protocols, right? So this is number 6 on my list. We're almost there, y'all. We're almost there. Number 7, denial of service. So you've heard of this. It's a DDoS attack. Happens all the time. So you may say, Ron, what is a DDoS attack? So just imagine you have a house and you have a door at your house. Somebody orders pizza to come to your house. You didn't order it, but somebody else orders it. So you open the door. That's a free pizza, right? Okay. But now you get more orders coming in, and it's so many orders coming into your house with all of these pizza orders that now your spouse is trying to get into the house. They can't because it's too many people, too many delivery drivers, too many pizzas in front of the house. And now somebody who's actually supposed to be at the house can't get in, right? They can't get in, and that's a DDoS attack. So when you flood somebody's website or their systems or their network with packets of information, so now when the right person or right system needs to come into your environment, they can't because it's flooded and it's blocking that port, that access port. Usually it's port 80, port 443, if it's secure. Secure. So all right, that's number 7. I'm just rushing through because I don't want this to be such a long video. Social engineering. Basically, I don't know if you know what this is, but it could be like phishing, like I talked about. You get an email, somebody social engineering you. It could be a call, a telephone call. Someone can call you and say, "Hey, I need help. Can you please, give me the number to the CEO? And do you have his email address? And also, what type of computer do you have? Can you read the serial number on the back of it, or all of these different things? Or can you let me in?" So this is a really big one. You're walking to your building. Someone is right behind you, and you swipe your card, and you're going through. The person goes through with you. They may or may not work at the company. That's a form of social engineering. They can get in, and now they can plug their little devices into your Ethernet ports or whatever, or put their wireless uh, devices and connect to the network and steal all the data, the network traffic, right? So social engineering is basically getting someone who's on the inside to give you some information or access to the environment. All right. And just like I mentioned previously, like giving somebody $500 to plug this USB in, That was social engineering as well. Sometimes you can just go and talk to somebody, befriend them at lunch every day, and then say, hey, I've always wanted to see a data center. Can you walk me through? I've never seen an actual data center. I say, yeah, sure. What's your name? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I'll show you, man. It is phenomenal. And then you're in there. Guess what? You got your glasses like these that takes pictures, and it takes video, and now you're getting all the information. All right, let's go to number 9, cloud security risk. So right now, everybody's starting to upload all of their information to the cloud. What's the cloud? It's just a computer or data server, and it's on the internet. So instead of you having it on your laptop or on your hard drive, you upload it to somebody else's computers or somebody else's servers somewhere around the world. The good thing about that is that they usually have backups, and it's more robust. It can be more secure if they're following certain security protocols, right? But the bad part is that it may not be configured correctly. You may not have the right amount of firewalls up. You may not have the right amount of access controls up. So now someone can access it because it's not configured correctly. So you just want to make sure that your cloud environment is configured securely with the proper security controls, firewalls, things of that nature. All right, and number 10, advanced persistent threats. I know that sounds crazy, right? So all it is, it's really simple. It's when somebody targets you for maybe a year or several months. Even when I do a penetration test, I like to have it at least a month so I can like really get in there, right? Do some good research, footprint their networks and their environments, and just learn who the players are. That's an advanced persistent threat. When they just decide, you know what, I'm going to get as much information about them and I'm going to use it. And I'm going to get into their system. I'm going to try a number of different things. I'm going to make sure I hide my locations, and I'm going to take my time. That's an advanced persistent threat. So you want to make sure that you do the following things to help prevent all of this. Now, I didn't tell you I was going to give you this information, but I'm giving it to you. What are these things that you need to do? You can see here multi-factor authentication. So you know what that is. That's basically when you put in your password and then you get a phone call and says, are you trying to connect, or here's a code for you to put in, right? So there are 3 ways to identify yourself. It's who you are, right? What you know, and what you have. So you may have an email address, right? And you may know a password. Or you may have a key card and know a password. Or when I say who you are, you may have like your DNA or a retina scan or your fingerprint. So you may put in a fingerprint and then have a key card or a fingerprint and a password. As long as you have 2 out of 3 of those things, it's called multi-factor authentication. Sorry, I took way too long to explain that. Employee training, that's basically security training, and that's not number 1. That's number 2. Multi-factor authentication is my number 1 to stop a lot of this. Endpoint protection, antivirus stuff, strong passwords, talked about that. You need an assessment, risk assessments. That's really like one of my specialties. I love doing risk assessments. Network segmentation, that means not everything can talk to everything. Like this group is isolated from this group. So if someone is in this group, they can't get to that group, right? If they're not supposed to. System updates. Make sure your systems stay updated and continuous monitoring. Have a SOC, a security operations center that's monitoring your networks, and you can always know if someone is trying to log in or someone has downloaded some malware, or your antivirus is not up to date. And that's what continuous monitoring is. All right. I'm Ron Wilkie, a cybersecurity quarterback. Sorry I made this video so long, but these are my top 10. What are your top 10? Let me know. All right. See you later.